What's up, Wrestle Scope Nation, and welcome back to the channel that brings you the unfiltered truth about everything happening in the world of professional wrestling. Now buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you is going to leave you absolutely speechless. This isn't just wrestling drama, this is personal, this is raw, and this is about to change everything we thought we knew about the women's division. Let's get into it. You know what really grinds my gears? When WWE thinks they can pull the wool over our eyes and pretend like everything is sunshine and rainbows backstage. Well, guess what? The facade just came crashing down on Monday Night Raw. Hello viewers, if you're new here, please don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button for daily updates on WWE Raw. Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE, the woman who's carried this company on her back for years, just returned from what WWE conveniently called a minor injury, and instead of getting the hero's welcome she deserves, she walked into a nightmare. But here's where it gets absolutely insane, and I want you to pay close attention, because WWE is going to try to spin this story. They're going to try to control the narrative, but we're not going to let them. Jade Cargill. Yes, Jade Cargill. The woman who is supposed to be Bianca's tag team partner, the woman who is supposed to have her back, was caught on camera blindsiding the EST in a backstage assault that can only be described as brutal, calculated, and downright disrespectful. And you want to know the worst part? WWE officials just stood there. They just watched as one of their top stars got absolutely demolished in the back. Where was the security? Where was Triple H? Where was Adam Pearce? I'll tell you where they were. They were probably in some production meeting trying to figure out how to profit off this chaos instead of protecting their talent. Drop a comment right now and tell me if you think WWE set this whole thing up, because something about this stinks, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. Alright, let me take you back a few months, because this story doesn't start on Monday Night Raw. Oh no, this has been brewing for a long time, and if you've been paying attention like we have here at Wrestle Scope, you saw this coming from a mile away. Remember when Jade Cargill made her WWE debut? The company pushed her to the moon immediately. She was in high-profile matches, she was getting main event time, she was being positioned as the next big thing in women's wrestling. And you know what? She deserved it. Jade is an incredible athlete with an amazing look and undeniable charisma. But here's where the politics come in, and this is what WWE doesn't want us to talk about. Bianca Belair built this division from the ground up. She had classic matches with Sasha Banks, she had incredible feuds with Becky Lynch, she carried SmackDown and Raw on multiple occasions, she main evented WrestleMania twice. So when WWE decided to pair Bianca and Jade as tag team partners, everyone thought it was genius booking. Two powerhouse athletes, two incredible performers, two women who could dominate the tag team division and elevate those championships to new heights. But behind the scenes, things were very different. Sources close to the situation, and yes, we have sources, unlike some other wrestling channels, told us that there was tension from day one. Jade felt like she was being positioned as the sidekick to Bianca's main character. And let's be real here, can you blame her? She came from being the top star in another major wrestling company to playing second fiddle to someone else, even if that someone is as talented as Bianca Belair. Meanwhile, Bianca felt disrespected by Jade's attitude backstage. Multiple reports suggested that Jade would skip team meetings, that she wouldn't coordinate with Bianca on their entrance timing, and that she was constantly pitching ideas to management that would push her as the star of the team while diminishing Bianca's role. The WWE Universe started noticing the cracks too. During their matches, you could see the lack of chemistry. The timing was off, the teamwork wasn't there, and there were multiple instances where it looked like they were deliberately not helping each other in crucial moments. Then came Bianca's injury. Now, WWE reported it as a minor shoulder issue that would sideline her for 4 to 6 weeks. Standard stuff, right? Wrong. Our sources indicated that Bianca was actually relieved to take time off because the backstage environment had become so toxic that she needed a break from the constant drama with Jade. And during those weeks that Bianca was gone, what did Jade do? She thrived. She had singles matches, she got main event time, she cut promos where she barely mentioned her partner, and she basically acted like she was always meant to be a solo star. The writing was on the wall, folks. This partnership was doomed from the start, and WWE either didn't see it coming or, and this is what I really believe, they wanted this to happen, because controversy creates cash, and nothing sells like real-life heat between two top stars.
Now let's get to Monday Night Raw and let me paint you a picture of exactly what went down, because the television broadcast didn't show you everything. Bianca Belair arrived at the arena approximately 3 hours before the show started. She went through the standard routine, checked in with production, got her medical clearance finalized, and headed to the locker room area. By all accounts, she was in great spirits, ready to return and remind everyone why she's the EST of WWE. But here's where things get interesting. According to multiple eyewitnesses backstage, Jade Cargill had been pacing around the backstage area for over an hour, looking agitated and constantly checking her phone. Several people said she looked like she was psyching herself up for something. Around the 2-hour mark before the show, Bianca was in catering. Yes, catering, probably the most public area backstage where everyone hangs out, when Jade approached her. Now, cameras weren't rolling yet, so we don't have footage of the initial confrontation, but multiple sources confirm that Jade walked up to Bianca and the conversation immediately got heated. Witnesses say Jade accused Bianca of going to management during her time off and trying to sabotage Jade's push. She claimed that Bianca couldn't handle not being the center of attention and that she was threatened by Jade's rising popularity with the WWE Universe. Bianca, being the professional she is, tried to de-escalate the situation. She reported that Jade had never gone to management with any complaints and that she has always been supportive of Jade's success. But Jade wasn't having it. The argument escalated, voices got louder, and that's when other superstars started gathering around. Chelsea Green was there, Damage Control was there, even some of the male superstars started coming over to see what was happening. And here's the moment that's going to be replayed a million times on social media. Jade suddenly shoved Bianca backwards into a catering table. Food went everywhere, drinks spilled, and the entire backstage area went silent. Bianca, to her credit, didn't immediately retaliate. She studied herself, looked Jade dead in the eyes, and you could see her making a decision. Was she going to walk away and be the bigger person, or was she going to stand up for herself? Well, the EST made her choice. Bianca launched herself at Jade, and what followed was absolute chaos. These two powerhouse athletes started brawling and catering like it was a fight outside a nightclub. They weren't working, folks. This was real. Security finally rushed in, but get this, it took 8 security guards to separate these two. 8. That's how intense this was. Bianca was being held back by 4 guards and Jade was being restrained by 4 more, and they were both still trying to get at each other. The entire time this was happening, you could hear Bianca yelling about respect and how she's earned her spot, while Jade was screaming that she doesn't need Bianca and that she's going to take everything Bianca has worked for. Triple H finally arrived on the scene, along with Adam Pearce and several other officials, and they immediately separated the two women to different parts of the building. Bianca was taken to one locker room, Jade was taken to another, and you could feel the tension radiating through the entire backstage area. But here's what WWE didn't show you on television, and this is crucial. After the fight was broken up, several female superstars immediately went to check on Bianca. Naomi was there, Michin was there, even some of the newer roster members like Lyra Valkyria went to show support for the EST. Meanwhile, Jade was reportedly alone in her locker room. Nobody went to check on her, nobody offered support. That tells you everything you need to know about how the locker room views this situation. Bianca is respected and beloved by her peers, while Jade has burned bridges with her attitude and entitlement. Now, during the actual broadcast, WWE tried to play this off as a backstage incident that would be addressed. They showed a brief segment where Adam Pearce announced that there would be consequences for both women, but they didn't show the fight, they didn't show the intensity, they didn't show the real story. Why? Because WWE is trying to control the narrative. They want to turn this into a worked storyline that they can profit from, rather than addressing the real issues of backstage politics, ego clashes, and the toxic environment that's been brewing in the women's division. Let's talk about what this really means for the women's division in WWE, because this incident isn't happening in a vacuum. This is a symptom of larger problems that have been plaguing the company for years. First, let's address the elephant in the room, WWE's booking philosophy when it comes to women's wrestling. For all their talk about the women's evolution and giving female superstars equal opportunities, the reality is that they still operate with a scarcity mindset. What do I mean by that? I mean that WWE books women's storylines like there can only be one top star at a time. When Becky Lynch was on top, everyone else was positioned beneath her. When Bianca was having her moment, everyone else was made to look secondary. And now that they're trying to push Jade, they feel like they need to tear down Bianca to make room. This is ridiculous. The men's division has multiple top stars who can all exist simultaneously without diminishing each other. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, they can all be positioned as main event players without one having to destroy the others. But with women, WWE still operates like it's the Divas era where there can only be one blonde, one brunette, and one exotic wrestler getting TV time at any given moment. It's 2026 and we're still dealing with this outdated mentality. Second, let's talk about how WWE brings in outside talent versus homegrown stars. Jade Cargill came from another major wrestling company where she was the star. She had an undefeated streak, she was booked like a monster, and she was treated like wrestling royalty. Then she comes to WWE and expects the same treatment even though she hasn't put in the work that other WWE superstars have. She hasn't paid her dues on the independent circuit, she hasn't worked her way up through NXT, and she hasn't earned the respect of the locker room through years of blood, sweat, and tears. Meanwhile, Bianca Belair is the definition of a homegrown WWE superstar. She came through NXT, she developed her character, she improved in the ring, she learned the WWE style, and she earned every single opportunity she's gotten through hard work and dedication. So when WWE immediately pushes Jade to the same level as Bianca, or even tries to position her above Bianca, it sends a terrible message to everyone who's grinding it out in NXT or on the main roster hoping for their shot. It tells them that loyalty doesn't matter, that hard work doesn't matter, that paying your dues doesn't matter. All that matters is whether you have buzz from somewhere else or whether you fit whatever physical mold WWE is looking for at that particular moment. Third, and this is crucial, we need to talk about tag team wrestling in WWE and how the company consistently devalues it, especially in the women's division. The women's tag team championships have been treated like an afterthought since they were created. Champions barely defend the titles, the division has no depth, storylines are non-existent, and teams are thrown together randomly without any character development or reason for them to be partners. Bianca and Jade are perfect examples of this, two incredible singles competitors forced into a team with no organic reason for them to be together,